There's obviously a lot that's happened, and I'd like to go back into a couple of those, if you're okay, just because there's a few interesting bits there that you mentioned. The first one I want to start with is the family business. You started with the family business, transitioned, which is not an easy thing to do. I've been in a family business for 25 plus years, so I kind of can understand a little bit about what you were talking about. So what's your what would you say in terms of family businesses and people that may be in them or thinking about doing them or thinking about transitioning? What from your perspective are the pros and the cons of a family business, and what are, I suppose, one or two of the key lessons that you've learned about how to go from brother, sister, one location to, I guess, the direction that you ended up taking it, which is a major IPO. Is there anything that you can share there that from personal experience at all?
Okay, I can share a lot, and I understand that you come from the same environment, a family business. I lived all my life in family business, and some of my friends who work in corporate, they envy me, and because they said, okay, family business is much easier than corporates. I don't think there's any easy job in life, whether it's family or corporate. Every job comes with its challenges. The key is to overcome those challenges. And if you have the passion to do something, you will do it, whether you're a corporate employee or you're a family business shareholder or a family business employee even. But I come from a big family. We are 10 brothers and sisters. Majorly speaking, we are 3 brothers controlling the fitness business. The key thing actually was the trust that the rest of the brothers and sisters, they have put in us. So my older brother, he's the chairman in the previous company. He's a chairman in the new venture. But we all listen to him. The fact of the centralization I talked about before, it was, let's say, the norm that happens with the family business. But then with Investcorp as a private equity and with our knowledge and understanding and exposure and the flexibility to change, we changed this to decentralization. So my first tip to any family business would be, I think documentation is very important. And identifying roles and responsibilities is also important. Interference can cause issues, a lot of issues. And the issues with the family is non-stop issues because there is a lot of politics and sensitive points. It will keep growing if you don't deal with it immediately. So I think first, as I said, you give the trust to the right people and you let them do what they know best. Second is documentation and identify roles and responsibilities. And third is also to develop a succession plan. Because during the last 3 years of Fitness Time, I became CEO of Fitness Time. I knew that from the beginning, my eldest brother was focusing on me and developing me to a point where he wants to split the chairman position and the CEO position. Where he will have non-executive role and I will have the executive role. So I accepted that role back then in 2016. And because he focused on the succession plan, I wouldn't say it was easy on me to take it over immediately and go with it, but it was a learning curve for me. And today in the new venture, since 2019 with the new company, I lead the family business. And my brother, who's now retired, but he's the non-executive chairman. He doesn't involve my brothers and sisters. The 9 of them, they're not involved in the business whatsoever. So I can feel now that the trust and the experience that we came back from before helped us now to have more stable environment where we can innovate, we can excel, we can focus on what we do rather than focusing on different interferences or family issues.
I've read a few of your interviews and listened to some podcasts that you've done, and you come over as a very humble person, but also someone that pays a lot of credit and acknowledges different people for influencing certain decisions that you've made. Couple of questions. One, is that a fairly accurate, fairly accurate observation? And two, if it is, have you found that being open and accepting that you don't have all the answers has been sort of help you into be successful?
If I tell you today, I'll answer the second part first. If I tell you today I know all the answers and I can do everything myself, I'll be lying. Give me one successful story that happened around the world with one person. And my older brother always tells me, one hand doesn't clap. You need the other hand to clap. So you need someone to help you to grow. I think from the starting point, I understood that from between me and my brothers, everyone delivered something different to the table. Everyone has his own strengths and weaknesses. And this thing that I learned helped me when I built my management team, that I can see my weaknesses. And then when we hire someone on board, that he can complement what I miss. So together I feel we are stronger. And whenever we brought someone on board, I always felt stronger because no one is perfect. And I know my strengths, and the best thing I have is passion. But when it comes to some technical stuff in financial or in marketing or in HR, you can't do everything alone. You have to bring the best of the best in the market to help you. And I remember Steve Jobs once said, he said, we don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. We hire the smart people so they can tell us what to do. And actually, I believe that the people are a very important part in our role, especially in our industry. Of course, the other industries as well, but you cannot run this business without people. I forget the first part.
Well, it was. I guess it was. Was that a fairly accurate observation? It certainly, you reference it quite a bit, so it was just to see whether I was right.
I always tell my older brother that because we lost our father when I was 9, and all of us, the 10 of us, we were young, and I was 9 years old, and I grew up under my brother's shadow. I learned from him, and I learned from the best. And I always tell him that you are my father, you are my brother, and you are my mentor, and you are my teacher. Because I learned the best qualities, and I learned the fitness industry from him. He made me passionate about it. And to a point where after 20 years, he had the trust to say, okay, this is the proceedings we got from the previous IPO. Tell us what to do with it. I gave the business plan for the new venture of the smart clubs, and today I'm leading the family venture for the last 3.5 years, and this could not happen if I don't have had his trust and the other brothers and sisters' trust, and without also learned under his supervision.
What was it like when you brought on 2 people onto the board? Then when you went from having, I presume, family board and shareholder meetings predominantly to having some other people on. Was that a fairly easy integration of other people, other ideas, or was that something again that you had to work on?
We had to change the board structure twice when we did the transaction with Invescorp to give them 2 seats. And then another major actually change in the structure was pre-IPO under the capital market authority regulations. You need to hire non-executive directors so they can give you a different point of view. And we had to add 3 more seats of non-executive directors, and to develop different committees, audit committee, and the committee responsible of HR-related stuff, remuneration committee, sorry. So the first change in the structure of the board with the Invescorp, we were worried, but then you select your partners, and we selected Invescorp because we felt chemistry between us and them. It wasn't only a pure business transaction. it was also an agreement that we should work together towards one goal, and we know what's missing. Can you guys help us reach there? So we felt that we have some kind of chemistry, and then when they went on board, it wasn't easy. We had arguments, but it was always positive arguments, and this is the important thing. I argue with my brothers all the time, but once we leave the company, we come back as brothers, because we know that the arguments within the boundaries of the business, it's only because we want the best for the business. So we don't take things personally. Sometimes we do, but generally speaking, we don't take things personally. This is the professional way to do it. And we had, I think, again, we were lucky having a healthy relationship with InvestCorp, having a healthy relationship with the two guys, and beyond two guys, also there was a full team supporting us from InvestCorp. It was a very successful relationship. Now, what happened when we went through the pre-IPO process and the board got bigger and we had non-executive directors, then the fracture happened, and we felt that we had different directions. We want something for the future of the company. The board wants something different for the future of the company. And then we said, okay, we did what we could do for Fitness Time for 13, 14 years. We got a valuation of 700 million euros, and the company is stable. We built a great infrastructure. There is 3,500 employees in the company. The company is working like, a system. So maybe it's time for us to take a break, move out, and do something else. And honestly speaking, when we left, we didn't think what's the next step. It took us maybe a few months until we said, okay, I came back to my brothers and said, okay, I have something.
Mm. And I want to come back on that next step, but just to finish off on I think it was when you said 2018, where you had these sort of slight board changes in direction. I think that's something a lot of organizations have to deal with. And I guess having gone through that from creating the situation and then being part of its unfolding, what would you say as some of your lessons from that process? So say, for example, with your new organization, you kind of get to a similar stage again. Are there any things that you would probably do differently if you had to do it again? And if so, what would those things be, or what would be a key lesson from sort of realizing that split?
Okay, I think the biggest lesson is you have to be prepared in the pre-IPO phase that you will give up some control on your company. So I know there is a lot of valuable feedback and valuable returns, to be precise, valuable returns in the process of the IPO, both in from financial perspective and also from social perspective and other perspective as well. Implications on the company, more stable, so far and so forth. But control is something that you have to give up. And a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, they don't like to give up control. For us, we are from this kind that we don't like to give up control. At the same time, it's very hard to find someone that sits with you on the board that understands your passion about fitness. We don't claim to be the best who knows about fitness, because we continue to learn. And about our industry, it's a very dynamic industry. We keep learning and trends comes up every day. But we have some sort of knowledge that can build a cement for the future. But sometimes you have other people on the board that can conflict with that. You have to be very flexible when you are at the board level, because you have to listen more than talk. You have to accept the other person also opinion, which we did. But then, generally speaking, the direction is something that we were in conflict. When it gets to something that you really want or you see, and the vision is not there, then you say, okay, I want to split. But then if you accept to give up control, if you accept the other people conflict, if you are willing to listen more and do more, then I think it works, and it works for many other companies. I think especially big corporates. But for us as a family business, and especially in the fitness domain, I think we're more flexible also to say, okay, we can do something different. We don't have to stick to what we're doing, especially that we did what we could do in 14 years. And sometimes you give a lot. You feel that you are burned in this area and you need to really jump and do something else. So you revive your passion, you revive your innovations.